Debt can feel like a heavy chain around your neck, one that gets tighter with every passing month. For many people, carrying debt, especially high-interest credit card debt, becomes an exhausting cycle that seems impossible to break. I know because I was once in that position myself. $10,000 in debt might not seem enormous compared to some, but when you are paying interest rates upward of 20% per year, it quickly becomes a financial burden that can affect your peace of mind, your ability to save, and even your daily decisions. I remember staring at my credit card statement, seeing the minimum payments barely making a dent in the principal, and realizing that if I continued on this path, it would take years to truly be free. That's when I decided enough was enough. I needed a concrete plan, discipline, and actionable strategies to stop paying interest and clear my $10,000 debt as quickly as possible. Over the course of a few months, I implemented a series of steps that not only helped me become debt-free but also transformed my understanding of money management. Today, we will talk about stop paying interest, how I cleared $10,000 debt quickly. So before we start, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. The first thing I did was understand the true scope of my debt. Many people make the mistake of ignoring statements or just glancing at the minimum payment due. This is a dangerous habit because the minimum payment often only covers the interest or a tiny portion of the principal, meaning the debt can linger for years. I sat down with every single bill, credit card statement, and loan document I had and created a detailed spreadsheet. On it, I listed the lender, the total amount owed, the interest rate, the minimum monthly payment, and the due date. Seeing everything laid out in black and white was eye-opening. It was no longer a vague, overwhelming number. It was a series of specific debts I could tackle one by one. I also included a column for extra payments I could make and calculated how long it would take to pay off each debt if I stuck to the minimum payments versus paying extra. The difference was shocking. Paying only the minimum would have kept me in debt for more than 10 years, whereas with a focused strategy, I could clear everything in less than a year. Once I knew the exact numbers, I prioritized my debts. I explored two popular strategies, the avalanche method and the snowball method. The avalanche method focuses on paying off the debt with the highest interest rate first while making minimum payments on all others. This approach saves the most money in interest. The snowball method focuses on paying off the smallest balances first, which can create momentum and a psychological boost as debts disappear quickly. I opted for a combination. I focused primarily on the highest interest debt first, but also made sure to clear one small card early on to get that motivational win under my belt. This blend kept me motivated while saving money on interest. Next, I examined my income and expenses with brutal honesty. I realized that while I wasn't living extravagantly, there were several areas where I could trim spending. I created a budget, listing every single expense from rent to coffee runs. I identified discretionary spending that could be reduced, like dining out, subscription services, and unnecessary shopping. I also looked at opportunities to increase income, such as freelance work, selling unused items around the house, and taking on overtime shifts. This combination of cutting unnecessary expenses and boosting income allowed me to free up a significant portion of money that could go directly toward my debt. I committed to a strict rule. Every extra dollar I earned or saved would go toward paying down debt, not toward lifestyle inflation. A major turning point in my journey was learning about balance transfer credit cards. These are cards that offer a 0% introductory interest rate for a set period, usually between 12 to 21 months. I applied for one of these cards and, upon approval, transferred my highest interest credit card balance to it. This single step dramatically reduced the interest I was paying and allowed me to focus on attacking the principal. However, balance transfers come with fees, typically 3 to 5% of the transferred amount, so it was important to calculate whether the interest savings outweighed the cost. In my case, it absolutely did. This move alone saved me hundreds of dollars in interest in the first few months. Another critical element was automating my payments. I set up automatic transfers from my checking account to my credit card and loan accounts on the day after I received my paycheck. This prevented me from accidentally spending money that was earmarked for debt repayment and ensured consistency. It might seem small, but automation removes the temptation to delay payments, which can quickly accumulate into extra interest and late fees. I also leveraged the power of negotiation. Many people don't realize that calling a creditor and requesting a lower interest rate can be surprisingly effective, especially if you have a good payment history. I contacted several of my creditors, explained my plan to pay off the debt aggressively, and asked if they could temporarily reduce the interest rate. Some agreed to lower my rate by a few percentage points, which translated into substantial interest savings over time. Even a 3% reduction in interest on a $10,000 balance can save hundreds of dollars and shorten the payoff period. Mindset played a huge role in my success. Paying off debt quickly isn't just about numbers, it's about discipline and focus. I treated my debt repayment like a project with clear goals and deadlines. Each month, I tracked my progress meticulously, noting every payment, every reduction in interest, and every milestone. This visual tracking created a sense of achievement and accountability. I even shared my progress with a close friend who helped me stay motivated. Knowing that someone else was aware of my goals made it harder to backslide into old spending habits. I also educated myself about personal finance. I read books, listened to podcasts, and followed financial experts online. The more I understood how interest works, how debt affects credit scores, and how budgeting strategies could accelerate repayment, the more empowered I felt. Knowledge replaced fear and gave me actionable insights that I could implement immediately. For example, learning about the snowball versus avalanche method helped me optimize my repayment strategy instead of just randomly paying off debts. In parallel, I focused on building an emergency fund to prevent future debt accumulation. Even a small emergency fund of $500 to $1,000 acts as a buffer against unexpected expenses, like car repairs or medical bills, which might otherwise force you to rely on credit cards. Having this safety net meant I could continue attacking my debt without interruption, knowing that I had a cushion to fall back on. As the months went by, the numbers started to change dramatically. Seeing the total debt decrease from $10,000 to $8,000, then $6,000, and so on was incredibly motivating. I celebrated each milestone, not with spending, but with small, free rewards like a hike, a movie night at home, or a fun activity that didn't cost money. These celebrations reinforced the positive behavior and kept me on track. One technique that helped enormously was the debt payoff snowball spreadsheet, where I projected the payoff timeline under different scenarios. By plugging in extra payments and seeing how each one reduced the payoff period, I could make smarter decisions about when to allocate extra income or bonuses. This visual representation of progress was incredibly satisfying and kept me committed to the plan even when the payoff process felt slow. If you liked this video and would like to see more like it, please give it the thumbs up, leave a comment, and click the button to subscribe.